Peace, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is 27th of March, 2018. How is everybody doing? I wanted to put a video out uh, before I started my day. I hope that you're well. I hope that your weekend found you time to reflect, to rest, to prepare for all that is going to be shown in this week. Why? Because everything happens for a divine reason. Nothing happens by chance. And guess what? Would you want it any different? Isn't the end goal is to have the life of your dreams? I would think so. So, you know, as you already know, I'm always aware of my surroundings and always reflecting and always thinking, taking time to give thanks by grounding my feet, speaking my truth, listening cognitively, reflecting, and looking to learn. Because your life is all about evolution, it's all about growth, it is all the makings of you and the reaction of what is placed before your life, as well as what is decided in which direction to go. Should I go left? Should I go right? Should I stay grounded? Or should I take the road less traveled? Now, I know some of you are looking and like, wow, look at his hair. Is this a blast from the past? Because I know some of you have pondered through my catalog of videos that I put out, and you remember a time where I grew it out. I allowed my body to take its natural course, and I allowed my locks to come. And the reason for that journey was for enlightenment. Also, as to show the example to someone, the intended heart, the intended mind, that yes, when you allow yourself to heal, to grow, to cultivate, to nurture, everything has its time. It is about protecting the application and yielding the result. It is no different than that farmer as he steps out into the field that has yet to be tilled and surveying and coming up with a strategy. Now, that farmer doesn't know the outcome, but it is the application, it is the commitment that facilitates the yield, the harvest, the abundance. Shouldn't that also apply to your life? Now, I know in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, that may be far from the reality that you have. But that's okay because where you are today does not mean where you're going to be headed. That does not mean that it's going to be the outcome of it all because it is all about the makings of you. Every experience, every conversation, every reaction, it all has a divine purpose. So I decided a couple months ago, almost 2 months ago, I said, I had this longing in my spirit. It is time to go back. So, yes, I'm growing my hair out. I am allowing my hair to take its rightful place. on my scalp, each hair follicle. Because as it was written in that doctrine, as we know, is the Bible. You may know it in other denominations of your belief system. Your hair is your crown. Your crown is an extension of your mind. It is no different than the tentacles of an octopus that scours the sea. It is also the first indication or filter of your environment as well. That is why when you feel an uncertainty or insecurity, at times your hair stands up. Everything has a rightful place. Everything should be rightfully protected. So, this is my validation to someone because you may be in a place where you say, I don't like what I see. I do not understand or find the relations in the identity that I project. And you want to feel whole. Yeah, I understand there are plenty of people that will convey, hey, imitation is flattery. Just stay the course. But if the course does not define, does not inspire, does not celebrate that little boy or little girl that lives in you still, you must question why and the merit was that partaking done to begin with. It's kind of like getting on a expressway to get off on an exit that takes you back to right where you were, but never getting off to the intended destination. Why would you do that? So I am talking to you. This is all about manifestation as well, because if you do not allow the thought to become a behavior, you cannot have an application to yield the reward, to bring you one step closer to the outcome that you desire. You can do anything you put your mind to. How many times have you heard your loved ones and elders or the people that have come in your life just for a moment convey the same thing? To some, that is chance coincidence. To others, we know it a little deeper. Because your life is priceless. You are priceless. Do you know who you are? You realize how many people can't answer that question? Because still to this day, they have yet to understand their purpose of being. And it terrifies them. So on the flip side, we can understand why there is so much turmoil in the town near you, in the city near you, in the state near you. But the common denominator is this. Do you love you? Honestly, ask yourself, do you love you? Because if you love you, you will find inner peace. You will understand what intimacy is all about. There'll never be another you. Do you understand that? But the one thing that mankind will never be able to do, and that is master time. No one on this planet has the ability to do that. Why? It is about the journey. That is why I've always conveyed to the intended heart and mind. Don't rush. Take it in. Because you will see the examples play out through your life of people that are seasoned, desiring to be young, and the trajectory of those who are young, desiring to be old. But the kicker is those key examples, those this is what your insight comes from. This is what your wisdom is made from and defined and displayed. But the question is, will you claim it? See, that is an action word. You can't be lukewarm when it comes to your life, to your choices, good, bad, or indifferent. These are all what I call living constants. If you're constantly seeing the same example and the example makes you feel uneasy, that is a direct correlation that the environment is not where you should have been all along. But that's okay, because the moment that you allow yourself to be vulnerable to yourself, to be transparent to yourself, change is just a step away. I know some people don't want to admit that, because then that means that will go against your perceptions, that will go against your ideologies, and your ideology is what makes your behavior. But you can't find it being reactionary. You won't understand it. You won't understand it being impulsive. Because being impulsive robs you of time. It also robs you of your assets too. How many times have in your mind you had a certain mindset and you found yourself on autopilot only to realize or question why you did it to begin with? It's time to have that conversation with yourself. So let's turn the page. I find it very humbling that now you're starting to hear people talk about mental illness. They weren't discussing that 5 years ago. And I wondered this. I wondered, well, to have mental illness as an umbrella term, you must have trauma. You must have disappointment. You must have a reactionary event that will cause you to ponder your thought. But has anybody even given consideration of where did the thought come from? I'll give you a second to think about it. Where did that thought come from? Because if it wasn't in your best interest, it wasn't divinely given. And for those who know what I'm saying, you also understand that his work is never done. The end goal is to destroy your life and keep you from you. Nope, you can't point the finger and say it was because of that, because of her, because of the system, because you feel that. I know that's like removing the band-aid from that deep wound right now, because you know deep down inside I'm talking to you. But just know my intent has always been what it was, and that was pure. But I also know this. As I've echoed in the past, there are very few things that I hold dear and will openly convey when it comes to things I like and things I don't. And the one thing that, in regards to movies, there are very few movies that stick with me. But one movie that I actually, when the first time I saw it as a little boy, I could never shake it and I never understood. But I understood the magnitude of why. And that movie was Imitation of Life. Yes, they made two versions, but the second version is what resonates within me because that was the movie that had a young actress named Natalie Wood play a significant role. And the movie had a social narrative that is still imperative today. If you've never seen it, just go up in your search engine and you'll find it. When you got time, check it out. The same narratives that was being conveyed in the illustration is still applicable today. That's your homework assignment. And then when it came to just simple books, see, a lot of people don't know, and some do. I'm a poet by nature. That is one of my gifts. I've always loved poetry even since I was a little boy. And it's nothing to convey, just spit something out. It's nothing. But I hold that with grace and humility. And one of the authors that also stuck with me, there's two poems. One, some of you may know, is called Footprints. And if you don't know what the poem Footprints was about, it was about a man walking on the beach that had a conversation with God. And as he walked with God, there were two sets of footprints. And as God tried to convey to man, I've always been here. He noticed the footprints became one. And then the man replied, well, what about all those? I'm paraphrasing this, but he basically paraphrased, well, what about all those hard times and struggles I went through? And then he noticed that there were only one set of footprints instead of the two. And God responded back to man, paraphrasing, all those hard times and struggles that you've seen, I carried you through. Which brings relevance today because think back of that last struggle that you had. Think about that setback you went through. You still don't believe? Well, let me break it down so for those who do not. If that was your life, your reality, you would still be living it today. Think about that. But I also understand that we as people have been indoctrinated to have a certain mentality to believe that once wrong, always wrong. But that does not define change. It does not personify growth. It does not display evolution. Now, at the end of the day, it is about free will. And as plenty of you have seen my videos in the past, you know I always echo you are a spiritual being first before you were physically incarnated. And in the process, you took on the responsibility of your life and all that it curtails. And with that being said, you were born. Now, the two gifts that you were inherited with your first breath was unconditional love because you are a child of the Most High. You are already made perfect. Even though there are some of you that think, Gerald, you say that, but I got these stretch marks. Or Gerald, I live in this, my life situation is not perfect. Gerald, I have a certain complexion. Let me tell you something. There's only 5 shades of brown on this planet, family. 5. So for those who may have a certain insecurity about your hue, let me let you know something. Love yourself. There's nothing more beautiful than a person that is emotionally healthy. You know how you know? Because the largest organ on your body is your skin. That is why when you are stressing, it reacts. Another reason is environmental. And you're wondering, well, Gerald, I'm prematurely graying. I understand. It's environmental, but it's also how you react. And oh, yes, for some. And I was thinking about putting this on the other channel because I've echoed, I do have another channel. It's called Journey of a Man. It's about my life and the things I'm doing. And yes, Gerald got his blender. So I'm back on my smoothie. I'm back on my smoothie kick, family. And I'll be putting videos out on certain recipes that I come up with. But I'm still taking my vitamins. I'm still making sure that this beautiful temple known as my body will carry me the rest of my days. Why? Because you only get one. That's why the surgeons won't tell you that. They'll give you that, the modification, but it's your application to sustain it. But if anything, it also is paying homage to that little boy, that little girl that has that beautiful smile within you. And if you're not smiling right now, acknowledge why you're not smiling and have the courage to champion whatever that challenge is. Because if you don't, you will join the multitude of people that have given up and accepted what their life is being projected as. You understand that this is a long road. So you must be strategic too. Am I talking to somebody? Are you listening? Because if you're doing the retail therapy, if you're doing the rip and run, if you are playing stratego with the people that you break bread with, if they don't inspire you, they're subduing you. But you have to have the courage to acknowledge So lastly, now tell me why you can't grow your hair out. This is 2 months. I decided back in, say, the end of January, so that I'm going to let my crown grow, and I'm going to allow my mane to flow. Ain't nothing more sensitive or more titillating to the human body than touch. You didn't know that, Queen? You didn't know that? But see, that narrative has taught you through indoctrination. Don't touch my hair. Don't touch my hair. When's the last time you allowed somebody to run their fingertips through your garden? That's what sensuality is about. That's for somebody. So I'm gonna bring this around the corner, and I'm gonna throw this out here too. I've been asking a lot of people in the media just one question, and I've been hoping that they would see my email, uh, just one question, and respond, because I believe that with the multiple platforms that are out there, it is a responsibility of that platform to disseminate what is truth to what is illusion. Right now, family, you might not realize it, but there's a whole lot of money being made by way of division and fear. Don't realize that? But it is. But the reality is, you're not supposed to be living in fear. You're supposed to be living your life. That is why I'm going to always convey to the intended heart, intended mind, claim your life back. You may say, well, Gerald, I have a boring life, but it's still your life. You are the artiste, and your life is the canvas. And if you want to make a mosaic picture of it, what's stopping you? What's stopping you? But stop criticizing your existence, because no one has the ability to bring you down emotionally more than you. That's why I keep conveying the message. Do you love you? Do you? But if you don't know who you are, how are you going to understand your purpose and your direction? So let's turn the corner again. Socially, I believe there's a lot of hot button trigger words being thrown around cavalierly without any responsibility of how they're disseminated. And I think that's unfair and unjust, because ultimately these choices will have an impact on those who will come behind us, our children, and the lineage that you will never come to know, because sooner or later you're not going to be here. And I've always been a strong proponent of knowing your identity. And I believe that for the last 3 years, there's been a lot of radicalization being used in the media, social media, because we know that well, I think it's Generation Y now, or Generation Z. They're more intellectual, and when it comes to critically thinking, they have not grasped that yet. But it's the responsibility of us as adults, as parents, to instill those behaviors, be your culture, be your time, be your structure that will ultimately give them the gift to have a fruitful life. That's why you've always heard me say, I've never heard of a child being born a racist, being born a bigot, being born an anti Semite. I've never seen that. And I'm always trying to learn because as long as you choose not to learn, you can't grow. And anything that can't grow will die. You deserve to have the life of your dreams. But the truth is, there's no such thing as self entitlement. You plant seeds for the harvest. Maybe that harvest is not going to come in your lifetime, but because it is planted in good soil, it will be bountiful. You deserve that. You deserve that. And I gotta throw this out here too, because I'll be wrong. One thing that I've been doing, because even as a child, I used to have, it never failed. I would always have someone say, "What are you? What are you? Are you Hispanic? Are you biracial? Because I'm looking at your skin. I'm looking at your hair. I listen to how you articulate, and I'm baffled. I am just me. And I love being alive. I am a spiritual man. I believe, but I am not religious." He said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. How can you be a spiritual man but not be religious?" Real simple. When you take the word religion, really, the word religion means pattern. Spiritual means connection. I have a connection with God. I honor him with my life. Without him, I would not exist. I'm still here. Simple as that. And your belief system may be of many other doctrines out there. Live a fruitful life. Don't forget the golden rules. Because as you already know, every time that you stray from you, there's a penalty for that. May it be direct or indirect. You will see that lesson play out over and over and over and over again until you acknowledge and understand what is being shown. And I believe that is what history is. And I also believe that is the reason why there are some that are hell bent to rewrite it. But you can't rewrite something that was divinely blessed. Sorry, doesn't work that way. So, if you woke up today feeling a little cloudy, feeling a little uncertain, just know you are loved. And there are people that are in your life or you have yet to meet that are waiting for you to claim you back. Don't fall for the distractions or the illusion. That's why when you hear people say, "Well, beauty is skin deep? Right, because it comes from the spirit. And if you're right inside, guess what happens? Remember that largest organ, your skin? It radiates, it glows. That is why when you see a woman that is in her natural existence, people stop. They take awe because it's majestic. Ray Ray's not going to tell you that, but Ray Ray's not going to claim you either, because Ray Ray is nothing but Mr. Right Now. He's not your forever. So until you decide to invest in you, you're holding yourself hostage from the other side of your life and the people that are waiting for you to get there. Because see, they see your worth. They want nothing but the best for you. Always have, always will. But what they won't do is they will not watch you destroy yourself. They can't do that. Too painful. So, Queen, I know you love your hair. Why don't you let it grow? Change your diet up. Drink your water. Drink water. Cut the stress out of your life. If they're not celebrating your life by being the example in theirs, why are they there? Why are they there? And somebody's like, Joe, you're talking to me because every time I'm around them, I'm digging in my pockets. Maybe the lesson being shown is you need to see your worth. You need to say no. Because the word no does not mean forever, family. The word no means under review. And if you don't like what is being offered, why do you got to accept it? But see, those people in the Me Too movement won't tell you that. They won't tell you that because they think it's strength in numbers. Why? Because deep down inside, they're insecure. Deep down inside, they've got abandonment issues. Deep down inside, there is a river within them called pain, and it's robbing you of your strength. Don't let another day go by without your smile in it. You're worth it. Be blessed.